I bring that up because there was a woman that was in that boat that had her face against that wall, that gave everything up and turned around. And actually, she didn't really said, you know, it's time to get affairs in order, you know, because you're not going to be around much longer. And now you look at her. She's a tremendous
Amen.
gift of God. So, I want to introduce you to Miss Marta. She is like one of our star patients. Come on over here. You want to sit? You want to stand?
Oh, I'm going to sit. I'm not going to read it. Well, I'm going to sort of read it.
You do it.
Joey,
Hi, buddy.
Joey, come here.
12 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was stage 2, and I had 6 months of chemotherapy.
What does stage 2 mean?
It's not quite. It's curable. Well, not. Yeah, it's sort of curable and controllable.
Right. But it means that it's not only in the breast, but it's like in the lymph nodes.
Yes.
It's in 2 locations.
Yes.
Right.
So you had the radical surgery?
I had a mastectomy on my left breast and reconstructive surgery probably 2 years later, or a year later. Oh, and then I was on tamoxifen for 5 years, and that was supposed to prevent it from coming back. So I was a survivor. I just thought, wow, this is fantastic. I'm healed, and you know, most likely won't come back. So I asked my doctor if I should change anything in my diet, and he said, no, continue eating what you're eating, continue what you're doing. So sure enough, I was addicted to Diet Coke. You can ask Valerie. I would have them at work in my little cubby hole. I would drink like 2 to 4 a day, at least, every day. And then I would put anything that needed equal. I had equal in my pocket or my purse. If anyone needed it, I had it. I was addicted to that too. Then I'd have like red meat. I'd have sugary desserts. I love desserts. I would have sushi, sashimi, as a matter of fact. Wouldn't even eat the rice. I'd eat the raw fish by itself. Didn't matter if it was wild, I ate it. Then if I had a headache, I'd pop like 3 to 4 aspirins in my mouth. If I had a cold, I'd put Theraflu, I'd put Alka-Seltzer plus Comedicine, my favorite, and it would instantly go away. I mean, it would go away like in a day or 2. Okay, then I was feeling, not knowing that I was setting myself up for reoccurrence, because guess what, it did come back.
Can I ask you a question? How did you feel like at that time frame? I mean, what was the possibility of it really reoccurring?
Oh, I just had a positive mind, and I just believed it wouldn't come back. I didn't know any better. You know, I didn't know any better that I should be changing my diet, not having sugar. I didn't know that sugar was a poison. So, you know, thinking a doctor should know. So you take their word, their confidence that they know that if they tell you continue eating what you want. It's like, to me, now that I think about it, it's like continue eating what you want, because guess what? It's probably going to come back and kill you. So you might as well enjoy your life. That's more or less how I felt. But then with chemotherapy, you do lose your hair, and I have kind of a funny story to tell. I'm a realtor, and one day I was having open house with my friend Valerie right here, and my hair started falling out. And we just said, oh, what's this going on? She would notice hair was gathered on my back. So sure enough, that evening I went home, took a shower, my hair fell out. So I called her up and I said, Valerie, come Monday, I'm going to be wearing a wig. And I was wearing my hair curly at the time. Please don't tell any of the agents, which I was really close to all these agents. Don't tell them, because I know, you know, I'm just going to feel uncomfortable. And prior to that, I had purchased a curly wig, so I had it all prepared. But then I thought, how am I going to distract them? I have to think of something. So I looked at my closet and I wore this really short skirt, funky looking top. I don't know what I was thinking. So when I walk in the office, everyone was just doing, you know, acting normal. Valerie was there, of course. And then they kind of gradually looked up at me, and the looks on their face, like their jaws dropped to the ground. So I ran in the bathroom and I just started crying.
Valerie told everybody.
Valerie told everyone. If you tell Valerie not to tell anyone, you know. If you want people to know, you tell Valerie not to tell. And she'll admit it. She goes, Marta, don't tell me because you know me, I'm a big mouth. So I went in the bathroom and I was hysterical, crying and crying. And then after a while, I looked up in the mirror. I saw Tina Turner. I had this curly wig and this really short mini skirt and this ridiculous top. I looked so funny. The picture was hilarious.
You didn't finish telling them when they took the wig and they put him on. Remember Rico took the wig from you and he put it on his hair and they were walking around with it.
I don't remember that. There were moments of this.
We've done a lot of therapy to erase
There's so many funny stories, but I can't think of all of them, but there were funny stories. But anyway, in between this time, my cousin Corrine would tell me about Dr. Because my cousin Corrine, her mom, our whole family, well, actually, if you look around, most of my family's here, but they were all coming, and she'd say, Marty, you need to come and see Dr. Cooper. You need to make a change in your life. And I thought, no, I'm feeling good. I don't need to see him yet. You know, maybe another time. I'm just feeling too great. I'm enjoying life, and so on. So, of course, 6 years later, maybe it's 8 years later. 8 years later, I started feeling pain in my left arm. That's where it was all on my left side. So I went to a doctor and I thought with all the surgeries it was probably just scar tissue. So he did a few tests and sure enough he told me what I wanted to hear. It was scar tissue. So I was so relieved. But then it started coming back a couple days later, so I got a second opinion. And this time the doctor diagnosed me with stage 4 breast cancer metastasized to my liver. And then I asked her, I said, well, maybe if with the treatment it'll go away, or they could do surgery and cut it out, and the liver usually replenishes itself, doesn't it? And she said, no, that's not an option. She said, and with treatment, you'll probably have a year. At that moment, I fainted. And when I woke up, I was so mad at her. I just wanted to hit her. But instead, I fired her. So then I went home. And I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to do chemotherapy. I'll quit my job. I'll go home and just die. If she says I have a year, I mean, what's the point? That lasted for a day. Then Corrine came, and she said, girl, you're coming to Dr. Cooper. This time she dragged me with like 5 of my cousins. So that's when it all started. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. It's chemo brain. Because I am still doing chemo, but it's so mild. And I don't have any of the medication that they give you for nausea, because I don't want any more poison in my body. So I'm doing really, really good. But with Dr. Cooper, he just changed my whole life.
Go to the first day.
Oh, the first day, let me tell you what he said. Well, first of all, when I walked in here and I said, I saw it read, miracles are expected. It just touched my heart and just gave me all the hope. And like he said, he's just an instrument through God. Because with prayer and God you need in your life, or none of this would be possible. So when I came in here, he told me, Marta, he said, you've got to change your whole diet and eating habits and the way of life if you want to live. So he told me that sugar was my #1 enemy. And like I mentioned earlier, I would eat all that junk. And then as I left here, after my consultation, he said, Marta, enjoy your weekend because come Monday, you're mine. And Lord, was I he got me straight. So it started with adjustments, and it took away all that pain that chemo gives you, all your aches and pains. In fact, my friend right there, all my friends, they tell me, they'll go, if we go somewhere and we happen to be walking, they'll say, Marta, do you think you could walk any faster? because I'm a really fast walker and they're a little bit slow. Or Valerie, these are her famous words. She goes, Marta, what's wrong with this picture? You're the one on chemo and you have all the energy. And I do, I have a lot of energy with my supplements.